time for us. We do have a proclamation that we will be giving Hector, but that will be tonight at Post Houston during the official welcome party for our new esteemed member of the city of Houston. And we're so excited about this. Not only does Hector's career, presence in the world of football, the game of football, but on through his wonderful career, his presence on the cancha, his understanding of how to play the game, how to lead a team, these are all things that we know he will excel at in the city of Houston and with the Houston Dynamo. Pues por eso, otra vez, quiero decir muchísimas gracias por venir, por estar con nosotros, para ser un parte de nuestro equipo, y con eso digo muchísimas gracias otra vez. Gracias, Hector.
Thank you, Councilmember Robinson. We'll begin now with a few opening remarks from each of the individuals up here, and we're going to start with Ted Siegel.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome visitors and press from around the world to Houston, a host city for the 2026 World Cup. And welcome to PNC Stadium, home of the Houston Dynamo Football Club. Special welcome to Hector's wife, Chantal, and their children. Like any good father and husband, I know that Hector wouldn't be joining us here if he didn't have the love and support of his family. So thank you for sharing Hector with the Dynamo and the city of Houston. I know how welcoming the city can be to newcomers, and I think you've gotten a sense of that based on the warm greeting you received at the airport upon your arrival on Wednesday. Yo soy Ted Siegel. Somebody in the press office just want to bet whether I would actually attempt to speak in Spanish. Yo soy Ted was, for all the reporters trying to get a scoop here today, those were the first words I uttered to Hector Herrera when we initially spoke in February. En realidad, I was able to fumble through a conversation with Hector. We discussed our shared love of Madrid, our families, our mutual desire to do our part to return the Dynamo to their past successes and to do it for our soccer-crazed fans here in Houston. But before Hector and I connected on Zoom in February, a tremendous amount of work was done and time was expended by Pat Onstad, Asher Mendelson, Paolo Nagamura to not only convince Hector that Houston was right for him, but to confirm that Hector was right for Houston. As an aside, as we start this July 4th weekend, and with all due respect to our many international visitors, it's here only in America that a native of Canada, a native of Brazil, a couple of guys from the Northeast here in the US, and me and Asher, could work to convince a native of Mexico based in Europe to come play for a local football club here in Houston. So I just wanted to point that out on the eve of the 4th of July. But what Pat, Paolo, and Asher came to realize is what you'll hear time and again about Hector from fans and teammates around the world, be it in Pachuca, Porto, Atletico de Madrid, and of course as a stalwart for the Mexican national team. And that is Hector is hardworking, a leader, has made his teams a winner in every post in his career, and an intense competitor for his clubs and country, who holds himself and his teammates to a high standard. And that last bit of the description is especially important. Soccer is obviously a team sport. Hector is one of 11 men on a pitch, one of a couple dozen players on a roster. A team succeeds when players elevate one another, when they're all invested in the success of the team over the success of the individual. And our players are excited and ready to rise to the occasion and meet this moment. Notwithstanding his singular talents, we are under no illusion that Hector alone is responsible for the team's success. These turnarounds don't happen overnight, as much as we're trying. But all of us, Coach Nagamura, Pat, Asher, our entire roster, including Hector, are committed and determined to do something special here in Houston. Hector wouldn't be here if we didn't think that he was all in on building this in Houston. How do I know he feels that way? During that February Zoom I had with Hector, there was only one part of our conversation when I spoke entirely in English. And I did it because, as I said to Hector, and as his agent dutifully translated, I wanted to be abundantly clear and not misunderstood. And I said, I'm committed to this team. I needed to know, are you committed to this team? He enthusiastically said yes, and here we are. Bienvenido a Houston, Hector. And as I said about a year ago, when I took over, as I said about 8 months ago when Pat joined the club, and as I'll say again right now, let's hold it down and get to work. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Now we'd like to hear from the general manager from Dynamo, Pat Onstead.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. It's nice to see such a great turnout today, and I know with this weather, sometimes that pushes it a little bit, so thank you for your patience as well for coming here. Interesting, Ted kind of touched on a little bit, talking about Independence Day in a few days, but most of you that know me, I'm Canadian, and of course today is Canada Day, so a little bit of irony here that you got a Canadian introducing national captain of the Mexican national team here just before in Houston, Texas, in this great state of Texas. So I thought that was kind of fitting. I just want to talk a little bit about the signing. I think we've talked about culture of our group, and I think this signing epitomizes everything about the culture that we're trying to build here at our club. You know, team first. We know that Hector has won championships. He's the type of guy that will improve our team. We know that. He's a captain. He's a leader everywhere he's been. We talk about the respect for our fans. We listen to our fans. We listen to the community. Hector has embraced this when we spoke to him. He's embraced the fact that he wants to be a representative of the Houston Dynamo and a representative of this community and this city. So we're excited about that. Accountability, you know, I think Ted, you touched on it a little bit. But, you know, Ted came here and he said, I'm going to invest in this team. I'm going to spend money that's going to help make this team better, and we're going to invest. So, you know, Ted's holding us accountable. He's given us an opportunity to sign a player of Hector's quality, and we've been able to do that, you know. I think, and then the big one for us is the pursuit of excellence. And I said from day one, and I know Ted has said this as well, is that we want to win multiple championships here. We want to compete for trophies. That's our goal. And I can't think of a better guy than Hector sitting beside here to help us lead down that pathway. The deal itself, I'll get to thank yous, but was actually fairly simple. I think as Ted talked about this famous phone call and the Zoom call, there were some other calls in behind, but I think with his agent, with Gabriel, we had a really good conversation. And it was, I think, for both of us was to see if it was the right fit, you know, and it's not just about our city, you know, make sure that Hector was comfortable coming here and with his lovely family, but I think more importantly that we believed in each other. And that didn't take very long. We got there pretty quickly, but it was important. And I would say, and I've talked to Gabriel about this, and hopefully he's translated for me with my horrible Spanish to Hector. But I think the big one was when we got to Madrid and we sat down and we actually had a couple of glasses of water, I guess, mixed with a little wine. We had a few glasses of wine. I think we actually hit it off and had asked each other some honest questions about where we were at. And in his stage of his career, in the club stage of our kind of rebuild, and where we're at, and it was a perfect fit. So with that in mind, I want to thank a few people, because I think he wouldn't be here without the work of some of these people, and I've thanked him again, and I'll thank him again, as Ted Siegel. Thank you very much for backing us and believing in our group here. That means a lot, and I think it means a lot that you would believe in a player like Hector Herrera, that he's going to help transform this franchise. The entire Herrera family, Chantel, Mia, David, thank you so much. You guys welcomed me into your home. It was very nice, and a very nice bottle of wine as well, so thank you for that. I owe you a bottle of wine. Gabrielle Maurice from Ocelot Sports, an agent, and some of these deals are very difficult when you do deals and you bring players over, and there's a lot of infighting, and I think we actually just sat down and had a conversation to get this done, and it was probably one of the easier deals that certainly I've been involved with, and Gabriel's shaking his head. He might say no, but it was great, and I think he's very honorable and easy to talk to and understanding, and I think that's where we came to an agreement right off the bat, what the best interests were for both parties. I want to thank Asher Mendelson. He brought this to the table for us. I think was really important in terms of where we got to, and I think for him, it was instrumental in getting this deal done. If it's not for Asher, I don't think this deal gets across the line. Nick Koba, where's Nick? Nick Koba, there he is in the back. And I think what Nick really helped with in this deal for us was putting this in historical context. You know, Nick has been here since day one. And I think for him to see that a player of Hector Herrera's level and where we're trying to go with this club, it was good for us to hear, for Asher, myself, for Paulo, to figure out where we wanted to go, and I think that historical perspective. So thank you, Nick. That was important. Paul Caffrey, for your leadership with the performance department, to be able to take the time to watch him, watch his movement, take a look at his injury history. I quickly said that, listen, this guy can play forever. I don't know about forever, because I tried forever, it didn't work. But the one thing he did say is he did say, okay, enough of wasting my time. If this isn't for real, then stop pulling me. But we got there, so thank you, Paul, for that. And then I'm going to give, before I pass it over, there's one big person here at this table that I want to thank, but I want a special thanks for a couple of people that have really helped with the transition here. Alan Hopkins, who's been looking after the Herrera family, making sure their transition was done well. Val Holland, for your work behind the scenes and helping make sure they were set up. Jesus Zamorano and Dorian Valenzuela. So thank you, all of you, for helping making sure this is a smooth transition. And then lastly, I want to thank Paulo Nagamura. And I think Hector doesn't come here without Paulo. You know, Paulo sat there, spent the time to talk to Hector, and they had a good connection. And with that, Paulo, thank you very much for doing that. It meant a lot. So thank you. I'm finished with the thank yous, but I also cede the floor to Paulo Nagamura.
Thank you very much. Here's the coach.
Oh, I'll be quicker than you guys, for sure. Well, first of all, welcome Chantal, Mia, Davi, Hector, bienvenidos. For me, it was a no-brainer decision. Since my first interaction with Hector, it was clear that he checked all the boxes while we're looking in a profile of player that we look to add to the club, in terms of culture, in terms of technical ability, tactical ability, physical, mental. But one thing that really turned our head on Hector was that he was really committed and really enthusiastic about the project that we have here in Houston. So again, I think I'm lucky to be working with a player such a caliber, and we're looking forward to bring this club where we believe it deserves to be, that is on top of MLS, and work already started, and we're going to keep going. But welcome, Hector. Welcome your family, everyone, and thank you.
Thank you, Paulo. You know, I've been around about 3 decades, if we start counting, around football, and I had the privilege of calling a lot of games in which the superstar that we have here today was on the field. There's one thing that comes from my heart that I want to tell the people from Houston, not only Houston, but from the people of Texas. This gentleman that you're bringing to the city has a lot of heart. So from today on, Houston should not have any problems. Here's Hector Herrera.
Buenas tardes a todos. Primero que nada, quiero agradecer a toda la gente que hizo realidad este sueño, a la gente que me acompaña aquí a mi lado, a mi empresario Gabriel, y en especial a mi familia que me apoya en todas las decisiones que tomo en mi carrera. Y nada, estoy muy contento, muy emocionado, muy ilusionado. Como lo he dicho, es un sueño para todos nosotros. Creo que el proyecto, el futuro que nos espera es muy grande, y estoy aquí para ganar títulos. Creo que he venido en mi mejor momento, donde todavía puedo dar lo mejor de mí, donde puedo ayudar al equipo a llegar a lo más alto, que es ganar, y creo que esa es la cosa número uno que me motivó a tomar esta decisión de venir a este gran club. La ambición y el querer ganar es lo que creo que nos hace iguales. Creo que tenemos mucho trabajo por delante, pero con la ilusión y la mentalidad que tenemos, creo que vamos a lograr los objetivos que tenemos. Y nada, espero que al final todos podamos ser muy felices, porque para eso estamos aquí. Y muchas gracias a la gente que ha venido el día de hoy, a la gente que me recibió en el aeropuerto, fue increíble. Mi familia y yo estamos muy contentos, muy agradecidos por cómo nos han tratado, cómo nos han recibido en el aeropuerto, en el hotel, la gente que nos encontramos en todos lados. No tenemos palabras de agradecimiento porque nos han hecho sentir como en casa, y queremos devolverles un poco esa alegría y esa ilusión que ellos nos han transmitido. Gracias.
Gracias, Héctor. Mucho éxito para ti y la familia. Right now, we're going to open the floor for questions. We have a young lady here on the side with the microphone. Please lift your hand. We're going to start in Spanish. Vamos a comenzar primero con las preguntas en español. Por favor, levante la mano el que esté interesado en hacer algunas preguntas. Like I said, we're going to start in Spanish. We'll make the transition in English.
Héctor, primero, bienvenido, welcome in English, familia Herrera. Welcome to Houston, bienvenidos. Espero que me escuchen bien. Alex Parra con el equipo de Houston en las transmisiones. Dos cosas. Primero, habla de la comunidad latina que tanto te ha seguido a ti. No solamente mexicanos, pero también seguidores del fútbol y los latinos. Y segundo, ya lo mencionaste un poco, ¿qué expectativa tienes tú para ahora tu equipo de Houston Dynamo? Gracias.
Nada, creo que a la gente, como lo dices tú, latina, tanto los mexicanos como otras nacionalidades, no hay mucho a decir más que agradecer el apoyo que me han brindado y en la forma que me han recibido tanto a mí como a mi familia. Las expectativas son claras, ¿no? Las he dicho, vengo aquí, estoy aquí para ganar, y creo que el único camino para eso es el trabajo y la mentalidad. Gracias.
Qué gusto verte otra vez, caray, hombre, tanto tiempo sin verte, qué bien te ves, hombre, ¿cómo te sientes?
Gracias.
Nueva ciudad, un poquito húmeda, lo estoy viendo aquí en tu frente.
Son los nervios.
Ya hemos hablado de lo padre estar aquí, pero no todo es oro en ningún lugar del mundo, ni en Madrid, ni en Pachuca, ni en Tijuana, donde empezaste. Dime, ¿cuáles son los retos más contundentes que tienes que superar para ser exitoso aquí en Houston?
Muchas gracias, es igualmente mucho gusto volverte a ver. Los retos están claros, ¿no? Son ganar, ganar y ganar. No hay otro camino. Es verdad que personalmente uno siempre quiere conseguir cosas, pero creo que en el proyecto y en el reto de nosotros el equipo está primero. Y eso creo que hace parte de mi mentalidad, de mi forma de ser, y nada, hay que trabajar para el equipo y lo más importante, ganar. Muchas gracias.
Fernando.
Héctor, me da mucho gusto saludarte, ¿cómo estás? Decías, y me llamó la atención en tus palabras de agradecimiento de entrada, que vienes en tu mejor momento y que vienes en gran parte a dejar todo aquí en la MLS. ¿Por qué, estando en tu mejor momento y teniendo esos minutos que tuviste a final de cuentas con Atlético de Madrid, tomaste la determinación de venir aquí con el equipo del Dynamo de Houston con los objetivos que ya comentaste, traes en mente?
Hola, Fernando. También es un placer volver a verte después de mucho tiempo. Poquito. Porque creo que me siento en mi mejor forma, en mi mayor madurez. Creo que cuando llegas a cierta edad te sientes maduro, te sientes confiante, confías plenamente en lo que haces y no necesitas que nadie venga y te diga que lo estás haciendo bien o lo estás haciendo mal. Eres autocrítico, sabes cuando lo haces bien, sabes cuando lo haces mal. ¿Por qué tomar esta decisión como tú lo dices? En la vida y en el fútbol hay que tomar decisiones y uno siempre busca tomar la mejor decisión para ti y para tu familia. Tanto yo como mi familia creemos que hemos tomado la mejor decisión. ¿Por qué? Porque nos han ofrecido un reto, un proyecto que tanto a mí como a mi familia, a mi empresario, que somos las personas que tomamos las decisiones, nos ha hecho mucha ilusión y creo que en el momento que estoy puedo ofrecer lo mejor de mí para este proyecto y no dentro de unos años como a lo mejor tú lo piensas, que ya no puede dar lo mejor de mí dentro de la cancha. Yo creo que esa es la parte fundamental por la cual hemos tomado esta decisión y estamos muy, muy, muy contentos y muy ilusionados de estar aquí. Gracias a ti.
Saludos, Héctor. Bienvenido a la Ciudad Espacial.
Gracias.
Ya estuviste esta mañana con el resto de tus nuevos compañeros. ¿Cómo fue ese primer entrenamiento con el grupo? Y también para Paulo Nagamura, ¿cuáles fueron sus primeras impresiones cuando se enteró del fichaje de Héctor Herrera y cómo le gustaría utilizarlo con su esquema?
Muchas gracias. La verdad que fueron muy buenas, un buen recibimiento como todo. Todos muy simpáticos, muy, muy amables. Es el primer día, yo creo que en el transcurso de los días podré o tendré la oportunidad de conversar con todos. Fue poco entrenamiento porque la lluvia nos paró, pero bueno, yo muy contento, muy agradecido con el recibimiento también del equipo. Y bueno, espero que pueda hacer buenos compañeros, buenas amistades y sobre todo una buena unión dentro del grupo. Creo que eso es lo más importante.
Sí, para mí, tú sabes, yo vengo hablando por meses la calidad que va a adicionar Héctor a nuestro equipo, principalmente en la media cancha, pero todavía no voy a te decir dónde va a jugar. Pero sí, mira, tú sabes la manera que equipo juegas, como dijo antes, con las calidades que trae Héctor. Es un jugador que puede ser muy versátil para nosotros, puede jugar en diversas posiciones, pero muy feliz de tener ello en nuestro vestidor, porque yo creo que va a ser una influencia muy fuerte, muy positiva para nuestros jugadores.
Héctor, te saluda Luis Ortiz de Telemundo Houston. Obviamente eres un jugador experimentado. Me gustaría saber para ti cuál es el primer reto. Yo estoy pensando que tal vez sería encajar en el equipo, aprender el sistema de Paulo Nagamura. ¿Qué tan difícil es eso? Ya sea aquí, en Europa, en México, no importa en qué equipo, es importante encajar. ¿Qué tan difícil es ese reto? Y también lo que te preguntaban hace momentos sobre por qué venir ahora si te sientes en tu mejor momento. ¿Qué significa, como tú lo mencionaste, tal vez no venir en unos años después, cuando mucha gente tal vez piensa sería cuando deberías de venir, sino que mejor cuando puedes jugar a tu mejor nivel? Gracias.
Hola. Creo que siempre es difícil, ¿no? Porque uno como jugador juega y los entrenadores tienen sus diferentes esquemas. Yo creo que depende de uno lo abierto que está para jugar y para entender el juego. Yo la verdad que se lo he comentado a Paulo, estoy abierto a lo que él me pida, donde donde él piensa que puedo jugar, donde él piensa que puedo ayudar más al equipo. Es difícil, sí, todo en la vida es difícil, pero hay que estar abiertos y con la mente abierta de aprender, ¿no? Porque creo que todavía se puede aprender, aún siendo jugador experimentado como tú lo dices. Y yo estoy aquí para transmitir todo eso y para aprender obviamente de Paulo y de mis compañeros también. Y lo otro, creo que a la gente a lo mejor le sorprende la decisión que he tomado. Si me hubiese quedado en el Atlético de Madrid, le hubiese sorprendido también porque no jugaba tanto. Entonces, al final creo que, como lo comenté hace rato, ¿no? Uno en la vida, en el fútbol, en el trabajo hay que tomar decisiones. Yo, mi familia, mi empresario, hemos tomado la mejor decisión y estamos muy felices con eso. Vamos a poner todo de nuestra parte con toda la ilusión y tranquilo. Gracias.
We have one more. Go ahead.
Héctor, Jorge Clará de Deporte Total USA, bienvenido a nuestra ciudad, Houston.
Muchas gracias.
Dos preguntas, Héctor. La primera, está claro que un jugador de tu trayectoria y jerarquía levanta pasión en la gente. Aquí el aficionado al fútbol está ilusionado con tu llegada. Pero quisiera saber cuál es tu mensaje linterna cuando te toca comunicarte con tus compañeros. ¿Cuál es el mensaje que les das a ellos para que también se conecten contigo? Y la segunda pregunta, ¿qué te parece la casualidad que a ti te dicen el zorro? Y vienes a un equipo donde el zorro es la mascota oficial, dice nuestro querido dice.
Creo que no hay secreto, ¿no? Lo he dicho. El mensaje y la mentalidad está clara, ¿no? Y creo que el nombrar la palabra ganar hace ilusión a cualquiera, ¿no? Pero para llegar a esa palabra o para llegar a ese objetivo hay que trabajar. Yo creo que eso es algo que Paulo tiene que trabajar mucho en ese mensaje, pero nada, estoy seguro que en conjunto lo vamos a hacer muy bien y no hay secreto, trabajar para ganar. Y lo otro fue una coincidencia. Hasta el día que estuve con Pat en Madrid, fue ese día que nos dimos cuenta que la mascota era el zorro. Yo incluso se lo dije a Paulo cuando dije, ¿me puedes decir zorro? Y dice, ¿en serio te puedo decir zorro? Le digo, sí, me puedes decir zorro. Y hace muchos años que me llaman el zorro. Y la verdad que bueno, eso me hace mucha ilusión que nuestra mascota sea un zorro y bueno, esperemos que me pueda llevar bien con él.
We have one more question in Spanish.
Héctor, bienvenido a Houston. Por 16 años, casi 17 años, la afición aquí en Houston ha querido que el Dynamo firmara un mexicano. Y cuando llegaron a acuerdo, Brian Ching, el más grande jugador de la franquicia, dice, esa es la mejor contratación de la historia de la franquicia. No porque eres un gran jugador, pero también por lo que lo que significa para tanto mexicano. ¿Qué significa para ti de estar en una ciudad con tanto mexicano que te ha seguido desde que estabas en la Liga MX? Las expectativas, ¿qué significa para ti de tener tanto apoyo en una ciudad como Houston con tanto mexicano?
Sí, creo que la afición mexicana siempre nos ha hecho sentir como en casa, ¿no? Cuando me ha tocado jugar aquí con la selección, nos reciben increíble, están todo el día en el hotel esperando que puedan salir algunos jugadores a tomarse alguna foto con ellos, alguna firma. Ahora que tengo la oportunidad de vivir aquí de estar en el equipo de su ciudad. Eso me hace mucha ilusión, me llena de orgullo poder representar al pueblo mexicano en Estados Unidos. Y como tú dices, ¿no? Los 16 años que tienen pidiendo fichar a un jugador mexicano, esa yo creo que es una de las mayores ilusiones que me hace hacer historia como el primer mexicano en el club que pueda ganar títulos. Eso me llena de ilusión y creo que hace más grande el reto, y creo que eso es lo que más me motiva.
Thank you to the Spanish media. Now we have some questions in English. Go ahead.
Hey, Pat. Adam Winkler with ABC 13. Look, everything you guys have done, you're obviously so proud of this signing and the significance. And at no point does it seem like you guys are really tempering the expectations for how much of a difference maker Hector can be on the field, off the field. What have you seen from him to kind of excite and ignite these fans and say, hey, July 9th is the day? We're not tapping the brakes. We're going full bore.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we're excited. Obviously, I think for us, a big piece of it is his leadership qualities, which it's difficult. I think when you walk in a door and you become a leader, and he's been in enough dressing rooms and locker rooms to know how that plays out. So that's something that I think that will take place over time, is natural leadership qualities that will come through. But most importantly for us, he's a very good soccer player, and he brings a lot of quality to our team. And allows us to do allows Paulo to do a lot of different things with the players he has now. So we're trying to get better every day. You know, we're still trying to work in this window as best we can to try to improve this team. But obviously, this is a big one for us.
Anyone else?
Victor, as a striker, Texas Ted, obviously your actions speak louder than words. But if you could put it in your own words, what statement do you want to make about this signing and what it means for the relevancy to the general sports fan in Houston?
Well, it's a very, very significant signing, and you mentioned actions speak louder than words. This city is familiar with Hector before. Only a year ago, in the Gold Cup, in a full NRG stadium, did he score the game-winning goal. And a whole stadium, much larger than this one actually, erupted. And so in that case, video speaks louder than words. And so his significance is already known to a large segment of our community, our soccer fans in our city. And I think we're expecting to continue that level of quality and build off of that level of quality for this year and many years beyond.
Go ahead.
Hi. Thank you. Hi, bienvenido, Hector. And for Pablo, you're not going to tell us where he's going to play yet, hopefully in the future. But for now, what are your expectations for Hector these first months, and thinking about planning ahead of the World Cup, because you're going to miss him a few times for the national team?
Yeah, we knew that. There's international breaks, of course, but I think first and foremost, like Pat mentioned, I think his leadership skills, I think, is going to be huge for our group. We have a pretty much a very, I would say, big young group in our squad. So I think he'll be a huge help there in terms of mentoring players and helping with that leadership skills that he has. But I can list like a lot of little things here and there that he'll be huge in our group. We're just looking forward to have him on the field and start working.
Thank you. We have somebody back here.
I got it. Yeah, Hector. My name is Sam, Africa Sports Network from Nigeria. You know Nigeria and Mexico. We always play friendly games. The last one at the AT&T Stadium, where you guys beat Nigeria so good. But now my question is this. You are one of the biggest Mexican exports there in Europe. Play for Atletico Madrid, FC Porto, won stuff with them. I know that maybe other teams might probably came for your signature when Dynamo came. What will you say is the attraction to this project? And how difficult or easy was it for you to make up your mind to come to Houston?
You ready? Le dice, él es jamaiquino, ¿no? Que han tenido grandes rivalidades entre Jamaica y México, y que eres una de las grandes figuras y estrellas que tiene el fútbol mexicano, de pasar por el Porto, de estar en el Atlético de Madrid, que realmente, ¿qué fue lo que captó en ti para poder decidir y venir a Houston?
Lo dije anteriormente, el reto, el proyecto que me mostraron, que me presentaron fue lo que más me ilusionó, y sinceramente no es porque está aquí a mi lado. Cuando conocí a Pat, entendí la buena persona que es, lo que nos transmitió a mí y a mi familia de él, de parte de Ted, de Paulo. Creo que eso fue lo que a mí personalmente me hizo tomar la decisión inmediatamente, ¿no? Después de lo que me habían ofrecido como proyecto, me había encantado a mí, a mi familia, a mi empresario, pero cuando conocimos a Pat fue el clic que hacía falta para decir sí.
With the administration, that everyone on the table convinced him because of the project that they had for the future for this team, and he believes that he was a perfect fit for what he wanted for him and his family. That was a lot shorter.
Pat, real quickly, you and I have been around the MLS for a long time, and in the press sometimes, especially the Spanish-speaking press where I work at, sometimes they underestimate the MLS and the level of it. Sometimes questioning the players that come from overseas, they come here basically to retire, or because they're not at the best level to be overseas. What does the MLS have to do, finally, for Latin American leagues or media to take them seriously, that this league is competitive and that a player doesn't come here to retire? Well, I mean, I think there's a few kind of parts to that. I think the big one is, and we've taken the first step in MLS, was to win CONCACAF Champions League. That was a massive step for us to prove that we can compete with Liga MX. I think that was the first step. But it's interesting because I think you see different profiles that are coming to the league. You know, whether it's a Gareth Bale or Cellini. So there's some other guys coming. But I think for us, it's funny when we were talking about Hector, and the game I'm going to watch and see him and play in 2 games is he's playing in the quarterfinal of the Champions League, and he's starting against Manchester United. So I think the level of player that is being attracted by this club, but also this league, is a top level now. We're not getting guys who are 37, 38, although Chiellini is obviously going against that, but it's also one of the best defenders probably in the history of the game. But I think this is what we're trying to do with this league, and certainly from our club, we're trying to attract as best players that we possibly can here to try to be successful.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you. Now, this concludes the formal part of the presentation of Hector Herrera to the city of Houston and to the team. We would like to tell you to remain here seated or stand there for a little while. We're going to remove the table. We're going to have some photograph, the 4 of them, and then we're going to go individually with Hector, later with his family.
All right, everyone, we're going to start here to our left. So to our left, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here in the center, please. here in the center. You guys good down there? Here to our right, please. You guys good? Thank you for joining us. We'll stand now with Hector on his own, please. Hector, acá a la mano izquierda de nosotros, por favor. Aquí en medio, por favor. Aquí la mano derecha, por favor. Ahora sí nos acompaña la familia, por favor. Tenemos familia acá atrás también. A ver, pues vamos a empezar aquí en la mano izquierda, ¿sí? Ahora aquí al centro. Ya para terminar, aquí la mano derecha, por favor. Ok, con eso, muchas gracias. We will hold additional availability here with Ted Siegel, Pat Onstad, and Paulo Nagamura here to my right, straight ahead, if you guys would like to get additional quotes for everything later today. If you guys have any additional questions, feel free to flag Zach or myself here as well. Thank you.